Have you ever looked at someone you love and felt that something's changed, but you couldn't quite explain what it was? What if those subtle shifts, lost weight, less appetite, a distant look, weren't just old age but signs of something much deeper? And what if knowing how to recognize these signs could give you the chance to bring more peace, comfort, and meaning to their final days? Sometimes we see small changes in a loved one, changes so gradual, so quiet that we brush them off. A little more tired than usual. Clothes a bit looser. A few skipped meals. Most of us assume that when death comes in old age, it arrives suddenly like a storm. But in truth, the body often whispers long before it stops speaking altogether. These whispers, the early signs, can begin months or even a year before the end. Sadly, they're easy to ignore because they don't seem alarming at first, but by the time we recognize them, it's often too late to prepare emotionally or practically. In this video, we'll walk through 5 powerful signs that commonly appear in the final year of an elderly person's life. These signs are frequently mistaken for simple aging, yet they hold the potential to offer us not just awareness, but a deeper connection with those we love during their most vulnerable time. Why does this matter? Because recognizing these signs early allows us to shift from reaction to intention, from simply watching to gently guiding. It helps us make space for what truly matters: presence, peace, and preserving dignity. It means you can help create a space of love and comfort instead of being caught off guard by confusion and regret. When we understand these signals, we're no longer helpless. We become companions through the journey, not just observers. In that awareness, that's the beginning of peace for both you and your loved one. If this message resonates with you, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell. It lets you stay informed and helps us reach more people who need this. If you find this content meaningful, give it a like, share it with someone who might need it, and drop a 1 in the comments. If not, comment 0 to help me do better next time. Now let's begin with the first and perhaps most noticeable sign: significant weight loss. Among the earliest and most telling signs that the body is preparing for its final chapter is unexpected weight loss. At first glance, it might appear harmless: a looser waistband, a forgotten belt notch, or a loved one saying, "I just haven't been that hungry lately." These changes can be subtle and are often dismissed as just another part of getting older. But make no mistake, this kind of gradual, unintentional weight loss is rarely without meaning. It's the body's quiet way of saying that something deeper is shifting inside. As we age, it's normal to lose some muscle mass. But when that decline becomes more rapid, more visible, it's often because the body can no longer absorb nutrients efficiently. The digestive system weakens, protein isn't processed well, and the result is muscle wasting, the loss not just of strength, but of autonomy. This isn't just about physical appearance, it's about what that weight loss represents. It means the body is beginning to struggle with basic functions, from maintaining immunity to staying balanced. Falls become more likely, illnesses hit harder, and the overall resilience of the person begins to fade. Appetite too changes in quiet but significant ways. Many elderly people lose their sense of taste. Food no longer excites them. It becomes a task. Meals are skipped or downsized, sometimes without even realizing it. It's not laziness or stubbornness. It's a physiological shift. The brain is no longer signaling hunger with the same urgency. Behind the scenes, medical conditions might be contributing as well. Chronic illnesses like cancer, heart failure, or kidney disease often go unnoticed until it's far too late. Even mental health, depression, loneliness, dementia can cause someone to eat less, fading both physically and emotionally. Naturally, families step in with love. They offer favorite dishes, protein shakes, reminders to eat. These acts come from the heart. But if weight keeps falling, it's time to look beyond the plate. The body may no longer be trying to rebuild it, maybe letting go. In these moments, comfort becomes more important than calories. Simple, easy-to-eat foods, hydration, warm companionship, a favorite chair, a soft blanket, a quiet moment together. So if you notice a loved one shrinking before your eyes, eating less, moving slower, looking weaker, don't just chalk it up to old age. Listen. Watch, be present. Their body may be speaking the only way it knows how. And in listening, you give them the most powerful gift of all: your understanding, your compassion, and your presence in this sacred chapter. Up next, we'll explore another deeply telling sign. One that creeps in quietly but speaks volumes about how close someone may be to life's final turn: extreme fatigue and weakness. As we begin to understand the quiet signals the body sends near the end of life, like significant, unexplained weight loss, another equally profound sign begins to surface: a deep and relentless fatigue that seems to seep into the soul. This isn't the kind of tiredness that a nap or a good night's sleep can fix. It's not the fatigue that follows a long day of chores or a restless night. This is something different, something heavier. It's a weariness that lives deep within the bones, an all-consuming exhaustion that never truly lifts. Even the simplest actions like sitting up in bed or walking a few steps can feel like climbing a steep hill with no end in sight. Imagine having to summon every ounce of strength just to stand, or feeling as if your legs are filled with sand as you cross the living room. Everyday tasks that once brought joy, cooking a favorite meal, brushing one's hair, or holding a conversation, now feel daunting, even impossible. For many, nearing the end of life, energy becomes a precious ration resource, and just staying awake for an hour can feel like running a marathon. But this level of fatigue isn't merely a part of getting older. It's the body signaling that it's entering its final phase. As major organs begin to slow down, energy is conserved for only the most vital functions. The heart doesn't pump with the same force, muscles receive less oxygen, and the body's systems begin to shut down piece by piece. The metabolism also shifts into a lower gear. The body is no longer working toward growth or recovery. It's working to sustain the essentials and nothing more. Yet perhaps the most heartbreaking part of this decline isn't physical, it's emotional. For someone who has always valued their independence, this sudden loss of strength can be devastating. The frustration of not being able to do what once came easily can lead to quiet shame. They may stop participating in conversations, turn down visits, or slowly retreat from once-loved routines. It's not a lack of desire. It's simply that their body can't keep pace anymore. And sadly, this withdrawal often feeds into emotional isolation, which accelerates the decline even further. For family members, this transformation is painful to witness. You may find yourself searching for ways to re-energize your loved one, encouraging them to get up, go outside, stay active. But it's important to recognize that this isn't about motivation. It's not about pushing harder or trying more. Their body is already speaking in the only language it has left: slowing down, conserving, and quietly letting go. In these moments, what they need most isn't pressure, it's permission. Permission to rest, to be still, to feel safe and seen without having to perform or push. Your presence, your calm voice, your gentle touch, these become their greatest comforts. The goal is no longer to restore what once was, but to honor what still is. Let the silence be soft, let the pace be slow, and let the love be steady. In the next section, we'll explore another subtle but powerful shift that often arises as the final journey nears, and what they reveal about the body's quiet transformation. Increased cognitive confusion or withdrawal. As the body slows down and fatigue takes its toll, the mind too begins to shift, sometimes gently, sometimes suddenly. Following the physical exhaustion, one of the most heartbreaking changes is what happens to a person's mental clarity. The transformation is subtle at first, but unmistakable once it begins. You may notice someone you love, once lively, quick-witted, and full of stories, start to drift in and out of focus. It's more than just forgetting where they left their keys. It's a deeper kind of unraveling. They may struggle to remember familiar names or lose track of what day it is. The person who once recited childhood tales or quoted their favorite books now pauses mid-sentence, lost in a fog of confusion. It's not just memory that fades, it's presence. You might sit beside them, share a story, or ask a question and be met with a distant gaze or a puzzled expression. That familiar spark, the one you've always known, begins to flicker. They may wander mentally, retreating into silence, or appear emotionally distant even while sitting right beside you. This is more than just age catching up. It's the mind slowly stepping back, retreating from the world it once navigated with ease. A mind that once lit up rooms, made jokes, remembered birthdays, and shared secrets, now struggles to stay grounded, and with it comes a deep emotional withdrawal. They may no longer engage in conversation, not because they don't care, but because their mind no longer connects thoughts in the same way. A once social spirit becomes quiet. Hobbies are left untouched. Friends are forgotten. Even familiar surroundings may suddenly feel foreign and unsettling. You might see them become confused in their own home or startled by faces they once loved deeply. There may still be brief windows of clarity, fleeting moments when they smile at an old memory or call your name just right. But these moments fade just as quickly, leaving behind a sense of longing and grief that words can't quite capture. For family and caregivers, this experience is incredibly painful. You're not only watching someone decline physically, you're witnessing their very essence slowly slip away. The emotional toll can be overwhelming. You may feel helpless, unsure of how to bridge the growing gap between who they were and who they seem to be now. But it's in these moments that patience becomes a powerful gift. Forcing conversations, correcting their confusion, or trying to anchor them in reality may only lead to agitation. Instead, meet them where they are. Sit with them in stillness. Hold their hand, speak softly even if they don't respond. Because even when their memory fades, the feeling of love remains. Recognizing these mental and emotional shifts for what they are, a natural part of the body and mind, preparing for the final transition can help you navigate this phase with compassion instead of fear. So don't measure your connection by how much they remember. Measure it by how deeply you care, how patiently you listen, and how gently you sit beside them, even in silence. Next, we'll look at another deeply telling signal in this journey: frequent infections and slow healing. An often overlooked but powerful indicator of how close the body may be to its final rest. As cognitive clarity begins to fade and emotional withdrawal sets in, the body continues its quiet descent. Another unmistakable sign of the final stage of life is the body's increasing vulnerability to illness and its diminishing ability to recover. In the past, a small cut or a mild cough would have been just a passing inconvenience. But now those same issues seem to linger, dragging on longer than expected, refusing to heal or coming back again and again. The body, once so quick to bounce back, begins to falter. Its defenses weaken. Infections that were once rare now appear with alarming frequency. Chronic coughs, low-grade fevers, and minor wounds that never seem to close. For loved ones watching this unfold, it can be deeply unsettling. You might find yourself wondering why a simple cold turns into something more serious, or why bruises and scrapes take weeks to heal. The truth is the systems that once rushed to protect and repair are slowing down. The immune response becomes sluggish, and the body's healing power fades. Pneumonia, urinary tract infections, and skin issues become common recurring visitors, and even more challenging, these infections don't always show up in obvious ways. An elderly person might not develop a fever. Instead, you may notice unusual fatigue, increased confusion, a sudden loss of appetite, or simply a not quite right feeling that's hard to explain. These subtle signs often go unnoticed until the illness has taken hold. Even medications that once worked wonders may now seem ineffective. Antibiotics might not provide the relief they once did. It can feel like you're stuck in a cycle, treating one infection only to be met with another. And during this time, every small wound, every cough becomes a quiet signal that the body is no longer healing. It's slowly letting go. In these moments, the instinct is often to fight harder, to search for stronger medications. More tests, another specialist. But sometimes the truest form of care doesn't come in the form of treatment. It comes in the form of presence. A glass of water, a soft blanket, a quiet room filled with love. These may provide more peace than any pill ever could. Rather than focusing only on recovery, this is a time to focus on comfort. Make sure they feel clean, warm, hydrated, and safe. Help them rest. Talk to them gently. Sit by their side without rushing. These small acts of care speak louder than any medical chart. It's not the infections themselves that define this final chapter. It's how we respond with patience, gentleness, and love. The dignity we offer during these days matters more than anything else. Coming up next, we'll explore one more sign that often marks the nearing of life's final stage. Major changes in breathing or circulation. A silent but powerful signal that the end may be closer than we realize. After witnessing the toll that infections and slow healing take on a loved one another, sign often emerges quiet at first. Then unmistakable, the breath begins to change. Of all the signs that signal the body's approach to its final moments, changes in breathing and circulation may be the most sobering to witness. They arrive like a whisper, barely noticeable at first, but soon become rhythmic reminders that life is slowing to its final beat. You might first notice their breathing becoming shallow, almost hesitant. There may be long pauses between breaths, followed by brief bursts of faster, more labored inhaling. Sometimes it sounds like they're struggling to catch up, and other times it feels like the breath is gently slipping away. One common pattern is Cheney-Stokes respiration, the wave-like rhythm of deep, rapid breaths, followed by long, silent pauses. It may sound unsettling, but it's a natural process, a sign that the body is transitioning. As circulation declines, the signs extend to the surface. Hands and feet may begin to feel icy even when the room is warm. The skin may appear pale or bluish, particularly around the finger, toes, or lips. This isn't random. It's the body conserving what little energy remains, redirecting blood to the core organs to preserve essential functions. The warmth of life begins to retreat from the edges. For family members, watching this unfold can be incredibly painful. You may find yourself holding their cold hand, wishing you could warm it, willing the breath to deepen. But this isn't something that can be reversed. Even the simplest of movements, shifting in bed, sitting up, speaking, can leave them breathless. The effort required becomes immense, and so does the emotional weight of watching them struggle. In some cases, fluid may begin to accumulate in the lungs, creating a persistent cough or a gurgling sound with each breath. You may hear a soft rattling or notice they avoid lying flat, seeking relief by sitting upright. Breathing, once automatic and effortless, becomes a focused act of endurance. It's not unusual for them to seem more at ease in moments of stillness. eyes closed, simply conserving what little strength they have left. This stage often stirs deep feelings of helplessness in loved ones. You might feel tempted to intervene, to urge deeper breathing, to check constantly to reach for answers. But there is a profound truth in this moment. There is no fixing, only comforting. The most powerful thing you can do is shift your focus from panic to peace. Keep the environment calm and cool. Offer gentle sips of water if they can take them. Use a humidifier to ease their breath. And above all, be near. Speak softly, hold their hand. Reassure them with your presence. Medical care may provide temporary relief. Oxygen medications, but these measures now serve to comfort rather than cure. If you notice these shifts in breath or the growing chill in their hands, know that the body is gently slowing down, doing what it must to ease itself into rest. These are not signs of failure. They are signs of transition. They speak of a life nearing its close with quiet dignity. Now that we've explored the 5 key signs: significant weight loss, extreme fatigue, cognitive decline, frequent infections, and changes in breathing, you may notice how each one gently builds upon the last. The signs don't come all at once. They creep in gradually, softly preparing us for what's to come. At first, we hope they're temporary, something that a good meal, a strong will, or a new prescription might fix. But as the signs deepen, we come to a difficult truth. This isn't about fixing. It's about honoring. For many families, accepting that reality is the hardest part. We want to hold on to encourage our loved ones to keep fighting, to believe that more time is still possible. But there comes a point when the most loving thing we can do is listen to what their body is telling us and what our heart already knows. Recognizing these signs early allows you to shift from resistance to presence. It gives you the chance to make the most of your time together, to say the things that matter, to let go of what doesn't, to create a space filled with peace, dignity, and unconditional love. The goal isn't to fear the end, it's to prepare for it with compassion, clarity, and grace. In doing so, we can ensure that our loved one's final chapter is written, not with panic or pain, but with comfort, connection, and care. So as we close this conversation, ask yourself, what stood out to you? What will you hold on to? What will you do differently now that you understand what the body quietly tries to say? If this message has touched you, I invite you to like, share, and subscribe. Let's continue learning together how to walk through life and eventually death with wisdom and love. Thank you for being here. You are not alone in this journey.